At this time, the chair lays out House Bill 2605 and recognizes Representative Toth to explain his bill.
Chairman, members, want to thank you for taking the opportunity to allow me to lay out House Bill 2605. This bill seeks to restrict state agencies, TxDOT, from assisting in the construction of private high-speed rail projects by issuing permits or negotiating right-of-way access until the private entity has obtained all the required federal approval permits. I came into the House in 2013 at a time when TxDOT was rightly stating how short they were on assets. And while I know that our funding has improved for TxDOT, it's not to the point where I believe TxDOT has the resources to pour something into a doomed project. Nearly every single lawsuit where eminent domain has been challenged for Texas high-speed rail, the residents have won, and Texas high-speed rail has lost. TxDOT ought not be spending resources, valuable resources that are needed elsewhere, on this project until this is settled by the courts. Ask for the opportunity to close.
Members, are there any questions of Representative Toth?
Just a quick question. Thank you, Mr. Toth, for being here today. The question I have is a concern something to do with what happened in California? Is that the concern where a project that was supported by the state got partially constructed and they didn't have the funds or the authority to finish it?
It was a multi-billion-dollar boondoggle. Here in Texas, I don't know if you want to call it Texas high-speed rail or no lobbyists left behind. This is, they have spent an enormous amount of money trying to push this and shove this down our throats. And I think it's right that Texans stand up and say we're not going to do it.
Pardon me just a minute. We would like to recognize that Representative Terry is here.
Morning. Thank you.
Members, are there any other questions? If not, we'll reserve your right to close. Thank you for being here, Kyle.
Good morning, Chairman Rainey, representatives, Representative Lamont. My name is Kyle Workman. I am testifying in support of this bill, 2605. I am the president and chairman of Texans Against High-Speed Rail. I'm a landowner and a taxpayer in the state of Texas. One of the things that has been not talked about today that I think is important as it relates to these permits is what they call a rule of particular applicability. For this particular project to actually operate, the Federal Railroad Administration has to issue a safety permit, allow them to operate their train on these systems. Tier 3 railroads currently recently received regulations. Texas Central's train does not meet those regulations, and so they have to secure what they call a rule of particular applicability. The FRA has never issued a rule of particular applicability. The process has been on hold since 2016 and has not started. I confirmed with the FRA again this morning that they do not have and have not started the rule of particular applicability. So even if they were to secure an environmental permit, they do not have the permit to operate, which is another reason why this bill is very important, because it prohibits the state of Texas from wasting taxpayer dollars on a project that cannot ultimately run, regardless of the environmental impact statement being completed. So in closing, the state should not be spending valuable resources on a project that can't build itself or operate itself or complete. And I think this bill does good public policy to ensure that doesn't happen. So if I can answer any questions, I'll be glad to.
Members, are there any questions? Thank you, Mr. Workman.
Members, we've heard the Texas miracle. We've heard from many attorneys against this bill. We haven't heard from quite all the employees of the Texas high-speed rail today, but we've heard from many of them. And we've heard them evoke the Texas miracle and how good this is for business. And members and chairman, I just want to say that the Texas miracle wasn't built on fraud and deception. I was here in the 83rd session when I was told that this high-speed rail would go up 45, that it would not take people's personal property through eminent domain. I was told that no federal money or state money would be used, no P3 money would be used. And yet we've heard over and over again today that this is a public-private partnership. Texas Miracle was built on Texas doing the right thing by Texans. This is a bad